We are up and running and rolling. Got people trickling in. Hello, hello. Steve, hello. Reba, good to see you again. Hello. Remember to do that daily heart me. Get yourself some fan points. Willie, hello. All right. So I didn't realize, but we're already halfway through summer. Isn't it wild? So let me sort of officially start this. Hi, folks. Welcome to Yoddah Live. Today is August 13th, 2025. I am Yoddah, spelled Yoddah, because film studios are litigious. Let's see. Do. Right, just messing with some technology here. Hello, Gyro, Willie, Spike, Doris. Hello, hello, hello. Reba, about all these projects. Do you mean what do I think of all these projects? Um, maybe add a little detail to that. What projects are you referring to? Because there's so much going on that it's hard for me to lay down one of them. Hey, Cynthia, liberal from Texas. Good to see you. Oh, what did I read? Oh, okay. Yeah, I did read it right. You did say projects, but yes, it's, it is protests. Yeah. I mean, in general, I think since it's really the only power that we have, it's the one that we have to exercise. And I'll probably talk more about that later, but yeah, this is, I think we're at the breaking point. I think we're at the point of no return, and we have to understand the situation we're in. And we have to respond accordingly if we want a chance for America to survive. And really what I mean is for us to survive in a way that's reasonable. Stress and strife and suffering, that's like subsistence living where we're barely hanging on. That's not good for anybody. It's not good for us as individuals, it's not good for the country as a whole. And even though I'm not a patriot, this isn't about rah rah America. I live in America. People that I care about live in America, so I want the place to do well. I want everybody to be okay. I want everybody to have opportunity. And, the way things are going right now, those things are being taken away from us, and at a rather breakneck pace. And I'm going to talk about some other things that have maybe flown under the radar. I haven't heard too many people talking about them, and in some cases, I really haven't heard anything. So, you know, I want to. There's a lot to talk about. I want to get to as much as I can. And unfortunately, these days there's always a lot to talk about. There's no days off where we can just chill. We kind of have to make that happen. Biker, what's up? So, room's starting to fill up. That's good. Just remember, if you haven't done so already, do the daily heartbeat. Man, suddenly I've lost the ability to speak. Wow. If you haven't done so already, please do the daily heart me. Apparently, you know, it's a way to show the platform that I'm here. Apparently, they put a lot of weight to that. So, if anyone can, please do. It's just one little coin, which is literally a penny. Biker, I am good and I am goog also. I was able to crack that code. I figured out what you meant, but yeah. Yeah, National Guard in DC. Yep. Well, you know. Hey, AC is here from Justice Over Tyranny. Good to have you here, brother. Yeah, so this is basically going to be a continuation of Danny's live that ended an hour ago, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit and give my perspective. But yeah, these are wild times, man. And it's the kind of thing where I knew that America could get here. I've been saying so for over 40 years. And I know that sounds kooky, but I've been talking like this since I was a teenager when I realized that this was all just propaganda. My first hint was history class, social studies. And what got me suspicious was the string of perfect sound bites for every historical moment. Everyone in history apparently always had the perfect thing to say at the perfect time. And I thought, well, this doesn't feel right. And it took a few years, because you hear the same facts over and over again, and you understand more, hopefully, as you get older. And so by the time I was around 17, I was like, oh man, this doesn't sound right to me. All of this, all of these perfect things. And I think the one that really put me over the edge was whoever said, my only regret is that I have but one life to give for my country. Right before they were strung up. Right before they were strung up. Like, come on, man. I was like, all right, that's too much. You're going to tell me a guy is meeting the last moments of his life and has the wherewithal to just say this amazing fucking thing and coincidentally perfectly patriotic? I just couldn't get behind it. And so I started looking into stuff. I started reading. I actually read way more after high school than I ever did during my, 13 years from kindergarten to 12th grade. I started reading a lot of stuff, and slowly but surely, it became really obvious that all of the stuff that moves our emotions about America, like my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, I pledge allegiance to the flag, the land of the free, home of the brave, all of that stuff is propaganda. And it was designed to create an emotional bond between you and a tyrannical country so you wouldn't notice the tyranny. Most of all, the tyranny governing you. You would always have villains to point at and say, oh, there's a corrupt country, and there's an evil dictator, and there's a shithole country, and there's a third world country. We had lots of ways to describe the others so that we could feel superior. And believe me, some of it worked on me. I used to feel something during the 4th of July when the Star Spangled Banner was playing. And then I read the lyrics of the Star Spangled Banner and realized that it was a song about ending the lives of slaves. Really. You might have heard me speak about this before, but if you haven't, The Star Spangled Banner is in 4 sections, which are referred to as stanzas. 4 stanzas. And usually at sporting events or any other public event or government event, if they sing that song, they only sing the first verse, the first section, first stanza, whatever you want to call it, right? And it takes a while. It takes like a couple of minutes because it's at such a slow pace. But if you go to the Smithsonian website or I think it's the Maryland Historical Society or Museum of History, something like that, um, you can download a copy of the original parchment. They scanned the original parchment, and you see in Francis Scott Key's own handwriting what he wrote in the third stanza. And you will understand beyond the shadow of a doubt, without equivocation or room for debate, that this is a song dedicated to ending the lives of slaves and threatening anyone who helps them. That's the national anthem of a country. Can you believe that? The national anthem of a country is devoted to its hatred of slaves. When you add that in, again, before you know that, you add in all the different elements, all the propaganda that is poured onto you from the moment you can remember. There's a reason for it, and it's a very sinister reason, because really, what logical reason would there be to teach a 5-year-old in kindergarten the Pledge of Allegiance? They don't know what allegiance means. They don't understand the pledge that they're reciting. They just do it because when we're children, we do what adults tell us. We place our hand over our heart and, do what recite what the adults are telling us to recite. But why? What is the point of that? Because it seems like maybe it's innocent, maybe it's meaningless, but it isn't. It's neither, as a matter of fact. It's very sinister. That is the beginning of your programming, your propagandizement, if you will, so that when you turn 17, 18 years old, 12, 13 years later, you are going to have such an emotional attachment to America that you are willing to give up your life for it. They start programming the cannon fodder at 5 years old. That sounds pretty fucking sinister to me. And we haven't even gotten to the topics that I want to talk to you yet, but this is good. We have 14 of us in here, 4,200 likes. We're moving a little bit slowly, but that's okay. I'm here to remind you to tap on the screen. So let's take care of all the public service announcement stuff, okay? I have a new method of tapping. Either I put the phone on a flat surface and literally tap with both fingers. It makes it go by so much faster. Or I hold the phone like this and I use my thumbs, but I find that it's a lot easier. It just, it alleviates repetitive stress and gets the likes up quickly. So I'm going to suggest that to you. And while you're waiting, you can press your finger lightly to the middle of your screen, right around my nose or my big fat forehead, and your friends list will pop up. And to the right of every name is going to be a send button. And I believe you can send somewhere between 40 and 50 invitations to your friends. If you have lists, you can send one to your list so multiple people get him. I have been too lazy to set up lists, but that would make my life much easier. So, I'm going to do that soon, hopefully. Usually it takes me months to psych myself into doing something that I want to do. So, we've just started the clock. But yeah, so share the live, tap the screen, make the comments. If you have anything in particular that's on your mind, share it in the comment. And of course, if you want to come up, AC, you're always welcome to come up. Hopefully, Danny might stop by, but Danny put a lot of energy into that live of his, so I wouldn't be surprised if he was chilling out now, and I certainly wouldn't blame him. So let's see who all is here. Said hello to AC, Reba, Cynthia, Mark. How you doing? Soul Fisher Press. That sounds interesting. Johnny Biker. The Hill, Phil something. Sarah, hello. Aston, hello, and Raymond, hello. Hello, 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 one and all. Glad to see you all here, and thank you all for sharing the live. Swims, hello. Good to see you back. So we got people coming in. This is good. So I'll start just going down the notes that I took. Just a couple of things that occurred to me today. Because we're through the looking glass. We now live in what is almost entirely a fascist country, and it shows no signs of abating anytime soon. I think if it's going to change, we are the ones that are going to have to do it. The government's not going to save us, and I know some of them are working at it, and I don't want to diminish that, but the law takes too long sometimes. And I know that that's the only option the good guys have, is to follow the law. But we, the citizens, have other options. And yes, we want to follow the law first. We want to be peaceful first. And then if that doesn't work, we'll make new choices. But here's some of the things that some of them came out of, well, actually, one of them came out of Dump's ridiculous press conference on Monday, announcing to the world that he was taking over D.C. So, Reba, you're 70 years old and never heard that? I think you mean about the song? The national anthem? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it only occurred to me just a few years ago. I don't know why, but for some reason I just decided to read the lyrics of it, and I was shocked by what I saw. So, Biker, yes, there definitely needs to be a general strike across the U.S., and we're going to talk about that because I think it has to look in a sort of a specific way. I mean, it doesn't matter what the form is, but there is one thing about the protest that has to be specific. So one of the things that Donnie Dump was talking about in his raving lunacy of just one lie after another, I'm not sure he told the truth once during that whole thing. I didn't watch the whole speech because I can't listen to him for that long. I can only take like 30 seconds to a minute at a time before I just get disgusted. But one of the things he was talking about, cryptically actually, was criminalizing homelessness. Of course, he didn't say it like that, but that is what they're doing. They're planning to criminalize homeless people, and or the state of being homeless, whichever way you want to call it. But at the same time, they're literally making sure that there are going to be homeless people, right? They're making sure that there are going to be homeless people. These economic policies, and I'll get to a little bit more on that in a minute, they're just disastrous. They're just making it harder and harder and harder for Americans to live and have any kind of peace and security. And everyone is one bad incident away from catastrophe. And if you think I'm exaggerating, the number one cause of bankruptcy is medical bills. So we now live in a precarious situation 24 hours a day, where anything that goes wrong has the potential to take everything from us. I experienced this myself. Last year, my car broke down and I didn't have enough money to fix the car and pay rent at the same time. And if it weren't for the generosity of wonderful people, I could have faced the prospect of being homeless because I had to keep the car on the road because the car is how I made money. And if I kept the car on the road, it would have meant not being able to pay rent. And the way things are right now, for most landlords, they're looking for any excuse to boot people so that they can charge higher rates to the new tenants. Right? Welcome to capitalism. All right. But the thing about homelessness and criminalizing it, aside from the disgusting morality of it, aside from the insanity of it, aside from the illogic of it, is that it's another perfect example of why I say America is not now, nor has it ever been, a great country. And maybe another time I'll air out all the reasons I believe that, but I can't see any evidence from 1492 on when America was great. And what I mean by great is simple, that the majority of the people were okay. That everybody had the same rights. For many of us, in our lifetimes, women didn't have the right to open their own bank account. That didn't happen till 1974. That's only 51 years ago. That's insane. You know, Roe v. Wade didn't happen till 1972, I think. 72 or 73. So anyway, aside from that, again, criminalizing homelessness is absolutely disgusting, especially when you realize that there are literally more vacant houses than there are homeless people by a long shot. And you know, a couple of states tried the experiment of just giving houseless people houses, and you know what? It worked out perfectly. It costs half as much per year to it costs half as much per year to maintain someone in a house than it does to maintain them as a homeless person. I just wish my lips would start working tonight. I don't know what happened. I might have hit my quota of words today. Anyway, let's see. A couple people are asking some questions in the chat, so let me take a quick peek. QNM. I don't know what QNM is. DC. Yeah, Biker says DC was great for his birthday parade, but now it is a very dangerous place. Well, it wasn't a dangerous place until Monday when Dump made it a dangerous place. Reba says you have a big family and we have lots of mixing races. Yep, same with my family. Predominantly Dominican, but we've got everything in there. Cynthia says we could be locked up for being argumentative. Yeah, and that's literal, right? A college student was arrested for protesting. That's nuts. Protesting is one of the most fundamentally American things that there is. It is protected speech. America went out of its way to protect the right of every American, born here or not. If you are on American soil, you have the right to complain to the government and air your grievances, right? I think they call it redressing your grievances, right? AC, do you think they will end up going with camps after flooding homeless shelters? Oh, sure. I don't think there's no room in shelters now. Okay, so there never was the plan to fill homeless shelters. That's why I said that Dump was talking about this cryptically. When he says they're going to be oh fucking hell. When he says that they're going to be relocated out of state, what he's talking about is the camps. That's what he's referring to. He just thinks he's cute, right? So, oh, thank you, AC. It's a kind compliment. He says you were excellent in Grandpa's life. Yeah, it happens. It happens. I talk so much shit. I got to trip over my tongue once in a while, right? It's always funny to me when it happens, though. You know. And if I live long enough, I'll probably be a babbling idiot. But I'm looking forward to that. So the other thing I want to talk about um, is another economic reality that has flown under the radar. So since March, the trade wars have been lost by America because of the stable genius, best negotiator ever, negotiating America into the shitter. Other countries have turned their back on America. There are literally billions of dollars of products that normally America sells to other countries that are sitting in the warehouses or on the docks because those countries said, oh, you're going to tariff us? Fuck you. Which is why tariffs are not a good idea, especially if you're going to be capricious about it. And now I want to talk about something that I said his name wrong, Reza Aslan said on, he was on a debate with PDB. I don't know if any of you ever watch Patrick Ben David. If you don't, do yourself a favor and don't do it. It's just dumb. But he talked about the effects of negative immigration because even though it's almost certainly not true, Dump is claiming that no one's come in, zero immigration. I mean, like, we know statistically that that's an impossibility, but whatever. Let's say he's even close to being right on that, and we're at a point where no immigrants are coming in. Well, let me list for you the top 10 countries from worst to best technically in terms of percentage. But anyway, so here are the countries that are experiencing negative immigration, and ask yourself, aside from maybe one or two of them, if you would want to live there: Pakistan, Sudan, India, China, Bangladesh, Ukraine, Japan, Russia, Belarus, and Bulgaria. Those sound like lovely hotspots. I mean, maybe aside from China, because China's population is actually very happy. Um, their government made a lot of changes recently, and it's working out for them. But they are experiencing negative immigration. I'm not sure why, but whatever. So most of those other countries are either in tremendous conflicts, experiencing extreme poverty, third world countries, all that stuff. That's the effect of negative immigration, because what the MAGA hats don't know because they're mouth breathing, knuckle dragging, homeschooled, sister banging troglodytes is that immigration is good. In America, here we go. See, I almost said imitation. In America, immigration is a net positive any way that you study it. Whether you want to talk about economically, whether you want to talk about benefits, tax base, labor, any which way you approach it, crime, all of the numbers tell us that it's good to have an immigrant population. Of course, I'm being reductive by just describing it as good, but you get the point. It's a net positive. It's a net positive. So trying to drive people away or keep them away or deport people, it's just insanity. And here's the kicker, folks. This is a great example of history repeating itself. America tried this already. In 1929, you can look up the Mexican repatriation. Sounds so regal a title, right? It was just deporting Mexicans. And they deported 2 million of them. And you know what happened? It exacerbated the Great Depression. That's what happened. Oh, AC, thank you for knocking out my live goal. I guess I'll set another one. Do-do-do. So all this noise that these dumbasses make about immigration, it's based on nothing but hatred. It's that simple. There's obviously no logic behind it. There's obviously no reason behind it. It's just horseshit. It's just plain old hatred of the other that America has been taught to hate since 1492, and really started hating in 1619 when they started bringing them over in slave ships. Again, as a reminder, if you haven't done so already, get that daily heart. It's a good way to promote the live, and you get points for it. You get rewarded for it. I love every time I log into a live, I head right for that heart me. I get my like 75 to 85 points. And it just makes me feel good. It tells me, oh, you're level 2 or level 5 fan or whatever. You know, it's fun stuff. So yeah. So AC, I'm gonna invite you up, and you know, of course, you don't have to come up, but if you feel like it, you're always welcome. And the other thing I want to touch on is what was brought up earlier about, you know, what the protests can look like. Let's see if I get exactly to the comment that I'm looking for. These are not the drones you're looking for. Something about protesting. All right. Okay, here it is. Biker D said there needs to be a general strike across the U.S. So let's talk about what that could look like. Oh, yeah. I got JC. So I wonder how you got into Grandpa's live. That's interesting. But, you know, whatever. TikTok is fickle. Um, uh, Thank you for being here, Mark. Appreciate it. So let's talk about this general strike idea. Here's what I hope. Here's what I wish. Oh, I got you, AC. Well, if you want to come up, it's up to you, and you could do it in on your backup account. That's fine. Otherwise, hang out in the chat, whatever works for you. I'm always happy to chat with you. But so I posted about this the other day, and um, I really mean this because what I'm seeing is patchwork, right? And again, this is not a condemnation or a criticism in any way. It's just an observation. I see people coming up with these individual initiatives, these ideas for protest. Let's not shop from this store on this date. And it's a great idea, and it's a good thing to do. And then I see like what's coming up in September 16th through the 19th or something like that, or whatever it is. Um, Again, great idea. Great idea. But this is patchwork. This is unorganized and scattered, right? What I would love to see is these people who are very talented at coordinating protests because they've done it. They've successfully inspired people to protest for a day or a weekend, right? But even when you look at the No Kings March, you realize there's an issue. So throughout history, someone actually looked at it. I think it was a young lady. I forget exactly who, but they studied protests from 1900 to 2006. And there were two things that they found that were consistent. Number one, peaceful protests worked like 3 times more often than their counterpart. So, peaceful, good, check. That's what we want. But the other thing was an equation, a threshold. Once at least 3.5% of the population got involved, it won, it succeeded. Now, revolutions or uprisings, whatever you want to call them, protests, they don't always result in changing immensely or, changing dramatically, but they do result in some positive change. And to quantify that doesn't even matter. You got at least part of your desired outcome. So that's a good thing. So we know from history the formula that works. So 3.5% in America translates to about 12 million people, roughly, somewhere between 11 and 12 million, depending on what the next census says. But let's say, just to pick a number, 12 million, right? No Kings was 5 million. So that's a sign that we're headed in the right direction. That's a good thing, right? And I was very impressed by No Kings. I really was. Like the fact that it's the largest event of its kind, the largest protest in American history, that speaks volumes to the frustration that Americans are feeling right now. And what I would hope, this is my fantasy. I would like to see all of those organizers that have done all of the individual initiatives come together and plan a big initiative. And what I'm using as my template is the Montgomery bus boycott. The Montgomery bus boycott. It showed us what can happen when a population moves in unison and sustains that movement for a long period of time. This wasn't a day. This wasn't a weekend. This wasn't just like a month. This was over a year. I think it was like a year and a week or something like that. But just over a year, those people in Montgomery got together and did what they had to do for as long as they had to do it in order to get the desired result. And the result that they got was MLK standing over the shoulder of an American president as he signed into law the thing that MLK and his followers demanded. That's really fucking impressive. So that's my idea. That's what I want to lay out. AC, thank you for coming back. I'm inviting you up. That's what we need, and it looks like AC has decided to join us. How you doing, brother?
Hey man, sorry about that. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
no
trying to
worries,
spend as
man.
much time on that other account just to get traction.
Absolutely.
But I'm up to 300 followers, so getting
Nice,
getting
nice.
getting there.
Right. Now,
How are you, man?
in your agency, do they enable you to go before you hit 1,000? Because I hear some agencies do.
I don't act. I was with Ari through Keep Them Accountable. I just need to reach out to her again and see what they can do for me. But I think I have to be on TikTok for a week. I don't think it's like if I can get 1,000 followers, I can go live, or if it's like 7 days.
Okay, that's interesting.
But
Yeah, I
like
know
I've
they
seen,
changed that
yeah,
criteria, so you
yeah,
should be you
that's what
should
I'm
have no
thinking,
problem.
right? Because we see people coming up here with 25 followers, talking
Yeah,
to people with much less followers. So I don't see any other reason why they'd be holding me back.
gotcha, gotcha. So, so I laid out a few of my ideas. Any of that stuff resonate with you?
I mean, yeah, the whole the I think we just need to be better about the communication between either organizations or figuring out a way that we are able to collaborate without being, showing our whole ass on social media. I think that's one of the biggest things um, that needs to happen, because eventually something has to happen. Something has to break. We need uh, we need to make sure that we don't cross the line of no coming back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like I think we're very close to that line, very
yeah.
fucking close. Um, yeah,
Well, I would invite people to study uprisings. There's a lot of information out there about them. One in particular that I found impressive was Russia in 1917, because there were two movements. There was the February uprising, and it's called a few different names. And then there was one later that year, which we refer to as the Bolshevik Revolution.
yeah, the Bolshevik. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep,
Right.
I was actually watching a documentary on that a while back.
Yeah.
It is
And
interesting
so,
stuff to
yeah,
see the correlations and like the parallels of
right.
what we're seeing today.
Yeah. And this is the world has been the world for a long time. This is none of this is new.
Right,
There,
absolutely.
what I found interesting about the 1917 conflict in Russia is that the first part of it in February was unfortunately uh, filled with carnage. I think over 1,400 people lost their lives. But the second one, the Bolshevik Revolution, was peaceful, which I didn't know. Which I didn't know. But, they actually toppled a king back then, you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
So,
ending an empire, to
right,
start
right. So
start
this
something
is
new.
totally doable, and again, there's no hard fast rules for this stuff. We have the data that we can pick out the running themes in them, but I think we have to get rid of form over function. Like, it doesn't matter what it looks like. What matters is that it happens, right?
Yes,
And
exactly.
we have an agenda. Every right thinking person wants a peaceful resolution to all of this stuff. I certainly do, right? I've been training since 1977 as a martial artist, but anybody that exercises their 2A rights, you never want to use it, right?
Right.
And
It's
so
always
let's
a
go
last a
peaceful
last
first, right?
absolutely last
But
resort.
as the old saying goes, you pray for peace, but you prepare for WAR. So that's also real. Um,
Yep.
and so, with regard to what you mentioned, which was like the communication aspect and the security aspect of it, there's a couple of suggestions I can make. We all know that Discord is there. That lends itself to security. But on a more fundamental level, if you're communicating with cell phones, right now, the most secure app is a very obscure one. Not very many people know about it. I use it with my ex-wife since I talk about very personal things with her. I use this app called Session. It's either Session or Sessions. I think it's Session. Let me double check that. Yes, Session. And here's what's great about Session is that unlike every other app out there where you text and call through the app, Session does not require you to register a phone number. And that's a big deal because that makes it
That is a big deal.
completely secretive.
Right. They can't track your IP to your
Right.
device.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, double D down there at the hams. That's I'm telling you, like Grandpa Danny's got some ham radios I would love to play around with, and like if we could start something that way, I think we would be moving a lot faster than what we're doing
Yeah.
right now.
Hey, listen, it's what Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. Like, we this is my opinion. Um I I believe very strongly that America has literally never been of, by, and for the people. We have almost no power, but whatever power we have, which is the power to revolt, we've got to exercise it. We can't wait any longer. This is it. This is the show. This is the thing that we've been dreading, the thing that I've been warning about since 2015. This is what happens to countries that flip. A lot of dictatorships started off as democracies, and just one lunatic comes along and changes it, and that's what we're seeing here. So we've got to do something about that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. We need Democrats to, and not Democrats like as in the voting populace, but our representation to start organizing their communities and making sure that those communities have a way to communicate with not only their rep but between one another where it's not the fascism can't take put an eye on it. Grandpa.
Absolutely. Hey, Grandpa Danny, what's up?
How you doing, folks? How's it going?
All the
Good,
better now
good.
you're here. How are you?
Sorry I'm late. I had a conference call with a friend, and And then I got the food, so I'm eating, talking to you,
I
and
gotcha. Hey,
Look
life
at you
keeps chugging
multitasking.
along no matter what our agenda is, man.
Absolutely. Danny's the machine.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Danny, yeah, I don't know how much you realize that you motivate and inspire all of us, man, cuz like you
Absolutely.
just keep chugging along, man, and it's very impressive.
yeah, I thought I better order. So I ordered Chinese for Grandma and I because she needed a break tonight.
There you
So
go.
Absolutely.
Good
That's the
stuff.
way to go.
Uh
anyway, so I didn't get in too much on the conversation because I came in kind of late.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, it's
give
basically
me
a
the Reader's
continuation of,
Digest version.
yeah,
What you
it's
talking
a
about?
continuation of what we were talking about. What we were just talking about is the idea of like we, in my opinion, are past the time of talking about doing something. And we just, like yesterday, have to begin doing stuff. And I wanted to ask AC a question, and then I'll take it to you, Danny. AC, you
Okay.
mentioned the Democratic leadership, right? And I'm tempted to put that phrase in quotes at this point because I don't see much of it. But
Absolutely. Absolutely.
what criticisms do you have for the Democratic Party?
My biggest criticism with the representation we have for the Democratic Party is that we are still trying to play, the good guy game. We are still like, oh, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. They can't do that. They shouldn't do that. They don't
Right.
fucking care. They don't they know that that's exactly what we are about. We need to stop playing nice. We need to stop walking the line and step over that fucking line and start playing in the dirty side of the yard, because that's where they're playing and they are getting all the fucking truffles.
That I think is what Newsom is doing. I think he's a great example of that, you know. And what I read, and I didn't save it, but in passing I read that if all of the blue states gerrymander the same way the red states are doing, the math does not work out for the red states. The
Absolutely
Democrats would
not.
have 25 more seats for the next 50 years.
Yep. I actually made my. It's funny you bring that up. I made a video on it. It was like the third to last video before my main got clapped. But yeah, they can essentially take 25 seats if they go with, I think it was seven of the blue states, with the biggest populations. That it would be a super easy thing to do. Um, and I keep thinking about that person that Grandpa Daddy had in his life earlier, the Shelly or Shell or
Mm-hmm.
um, it just, I mean, I get she's a California resident and like she may not be, happy with what she is seeing, but at least he's doing something,
And also,
you
she
know.
was inaccurate about something. She talked about how unpopular he is. He's polling at 52% right now.
He's polling higher than any Democrat for the Democratic Party when it comes to 2028. Like
So, hey, look, we all
it's
have our
hands
opinion.
down.
It's all subjective, and I'm not saying she's wrong, but the numbers don't support what she said.
Yeah, and I will agree with that. And that's why I had to. I wanted to jump up so badly, and I was like, "How am I going to?" Oh yeah, I got the backup. I could go jump on real quick.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but that's why I kind of wanted to jump in there and just be like, hey, you guys are both right, but at the same time, we got to do something. Like
Yeah.
and if Gavin Newsom's got to, you know, uh, showboat a little bit and fucking flex on Trump a little, like let's see it,
Let's do
because
it.
he's
Yeah.
the only one in the limelight that is able to reach an audience as big as we need right now.
And if he stays consistent, I think he's the front runner in 28,
Oh, absolutely,
you know?
absolutely. Like obviously we've got some time, But I think the DNC needs to be strategizing right now.
They need
Who?
to figure that shit out yesterday.
Oh,
Because
absolutely. That
this is where they
absolutely.
fucked up, and I'll get to where they fucked up when I get to saying what I think their mistakes are. But um, on a personal note, I actually texted Danny after his live because I've had today on his live was the third experience that I had with a woman that just sort of lost her shit. And I was like, is there something going on? Is there like something in the water or some astrological thing going on where like women are just going hysterical? Like, what is happening here?
I don't know, man. Yeah, it is. It is kind of crazy. And it seems like the atmosphere in this country has changed in a way. Like the way that we are all feeling. Is almost like an energy that rolls across everyone. We all feel the misery that is about to plague this country, and yeah, I don't know. That's why I take my breaks.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I feel you. So, Danny, what criticisms do you have for the Democratic Party?
Quit playing by the rules. They have been doing this crap for at least 30 or 40 years, and I think it's way overdue that we start playing as not necessarily as dirty, but as strong as the Republicans are doing. You know,
Yeah,
this side, get out now. I know I'm talking to somebody, Lucky. Anyway, I know that markets of Queenberry rules doesn't apply when it comes to politics. And these people are sitting there, even when Trump was not in office, he was still campaigning. He was the past president. He was talking about how bad Biden's this, Biden that, all this other stuff. I never heard one peep from President Obama, George H.W. Bush, or Bill Clinton about how bad Trump was doing. It's time to take it off. The old rules that previous presidents don't say anything when the current president is in, I think is over. Trump has taken the normality out of that. There is no normality of that at all anymore. So that's where Democrats need to start. They should have been working on this as soon as President Biden lost in November. They should have already been gearing up because you knew what was going to happen. And we need to get standing and we need to start getting loud and we need to stand proud and start telling the American people what this man is doing because he is literally tearing the country apart. He is literally making this a fascist country. He is literally
allowing people to be killed.
that's right, allowing people to be prison that shouldn't be in prison, and these concentration camps, internment camps, wherever you want to call them. The only thing that's missing right now is the furnaces.
right.
That's the only thing that's missing. So
Yeah, and
I
that's
think the
what some of these
Democrats
MAGA
should
hats
have
are
been
hanging
doing
their
it.
hat on. Oh, he's not throwing anyone in the ovens. It's like, shut the fuck up.
Right.
That's actually funny that you bring it up. They have there have been heat signature readings. This was right when the camp started, but there were like heat temperature readings, like spikes, that couldn't be really explained. So we don't know if that they were just trying to burn trash or what, but like that
Yeah,
that is a very alarming thing.
potentially. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I
And
think
yes, and
that
this is allegedly,
yeah,
like it.
yeah. I think that my thoughts are a combination of both of yours with a slight twist. I would go way farther back than Biden's, you know, loss in or whatever it was. Like I think that to the Republicans' credit is that they have always been planning, they have always been plotting. By my estimation, they have been working on this for 60 years at least. I think it started with the Southern strategy, which was the mid 60s flip of the parties, and it hasn't stopped since then. So we are way behind the eight ball in this one. And strategically speaking, where the Democratic Party fucked up was by not holding Biden to his word of being a one-term president. Because if they had done that, then the moment that Biden won in 2020 and started serving, they would have been planning for the next candidate. And that way, when Dump announced that he was running in 2022, November of 2022, then the Democratic Party would have just been like, within an hour, all right, now that he's announced, we're announcing. And that way, let's say it was Kamala, whoever it would have been, let's assume it would have been Kamala, she would have had the same 2 years to campaign that idiot had. Because you can't give someone like Dump or anybody in a competition as important as President of America a 2 year lead in campaigning and give you only 3 months. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Absolutely.
Let me welcome Chuck. How you doing?
Hey, how are y'all this evening?
I'm excellent. What
Doing
is
good,
on your
Chuck.
mind?
Um, can we talk about this so-called big beautiful bill?
Sure.
I'm still trying to convince people that the no tax of overtime, you're still getting taxed on overtime, no matter what you do. So,
Yeah.
for example, I give you
You're
an
going to get
example.
taxed. You get it back
It's a
at
rebate.
Yeah,
the
Yeah.
end of the year. You're still
but
going to get
say
taxed, but
Yeah.
they
it
only do
depends
it.
on the bracket. Okay, because I had to ask my aunt to help me understand this because she works in the tax field.
Okay.
So, how she explained it as a 5-year-old, because I'm not a genius. So, she explained it like this. Let's say you were making $100,000, $50,000 in regular pay, normal taxes, and then $50,000 in overtime. She said if you are making a bracket, the percent of the deduction is coming back to you. The maximum is, I believe, 12,500. Correct me if I'm wrong. And
Yeah,
the
I believe.
rest of the rest of it is going to get taxed normal. Then on top of that, you still have your state taxes, your social security taxes, and your Medicaid and any other type of taxes is still going to be hit off of the $50,000. So overall, you're still going to get taxed on your overtime.
Yeah, that's the bottom line is you're gonna see that tax in your paycheck, and then at the end of the year, you can claim up to $25,000 if you've worked that
So
amount of
it
if
helps
you've
almost
earned
no one,
25,000.
basically.
Exactly.
That's the thing. You're saying you can claim up to $25,000, but then that $25,000 is still going to get taxed
Oh,
on your
absolutely.
state taxes, your Social Security, Medicaid, and whatever other taxes are taken out of your check.
Yeah,
And
100%.
at the end of the day, you're still going to get. It's not a win-win.
No, it's a lose lose.
Because if okay, I give y'all example. If no one who's a Republican in here do not believe what I'm saying, look up the state of Alabama and what they did when they did the state tax of no tax on overtime on the state. So what Alabama did was they did 100% no taxes on overtime, but they sneaked in that same bill had sneaking where they raised your property taxes. If you don't That's what I'm saying. If you don't believe me, it only takes 5 seconds to look up Alabama no tax on overtime.
Yeah,
And
the bottom line is that all of the language that they were using to try to sell the knuckleheads on this bill was propaganda. It was all just bullshit. It was all
Oh
sound
yeah,
bites that sounded good. The no tax on tips. That whole thing helps almost no one.
And
It
that's the
just
thing.
literally helps almost no one.
I used to be a server for 10 years. I'm a welder now, but when I used to be a server, the one thing I was always taught as a server, do not put your cash tip in the system. Why? Because they tax the hell out you in your cash tip.
absolutely. Yep.
Because your credit card tips take 60% of the taxes. And then if you put your cash tip in, you might as well just say, I owe the IRS.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it just
we
sounds good on
completely
the
agree with you on
campaign
that.
trail, but it added up to nothing. And
I've
it's
been
the
trying to
perfect thing for
convince
these MAGA
people.
hats because it requires thinking to understand it.
I've been trying to convince people in the welding industry, especially my job, for the past 3 years, and they still don't believe me. Like they had
That's
to
wild.
talk. They had to talk to their accountant for them to be like, "I got fucking screwed."
Right. And that's what a lot of people are going to find out come tax season. Like they're going to find out the hard way, and people are going to be upset. That's for sure.
And also,
But
Dump proved in the
we tried
first
to tell everybody.
administration that you can buy someone's integrity for a couple $1,000. All of these people that said that he had such a great economy the first time around, aside from being idiots that don't understand life and the reality of the world, is like, oh, because you got back a couple $1,000 extra in your paycheck, like that was enough to buy you, you pathetic asshole. These billionaires are throwing around hundreds of billions of dollars and in some cases trillions of dollars, and you're settling for a couple $1,000. Not only are you a hoe, you're a cheap hoe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and a lot of their transfers don't get taxed.
and to this
You know,
day, the
like
pandemic stimulus check, people believe Donald Trump gave it to him. I said no. Congress gave it to him. The reason why it took so long is because Donald Trump wanted his name on the stimulus check. And
Yeah.
yep,
if you didn't believe me, look it up. He complained about it for the past what 2, 3 weeks, and Congress was like, you know what, whatever, just put your name on it.
right. Yeah, no, they actually started sending checks that didn't have his name on it, and like he halted it so
Yeah, he
that
stopped it.
that yeah, they like stopped it distribution. It's fucking wild. And people they don't my problem with it is like people don't remember. Like they don't tally the shit. You need to just write down everything ridiculous Donald Trump has done. And maybe I'll do this and do it like make a video, but like if you tally that shit, that list has got to be a mile long.
Oh, it's so long. It's so
You
long.
know, like
And at the top
and
of that
people just don't
list,
remember the bullshit that he does because he just keeps moving.
100%. It's
Well, there's
it's
a
it's there's a I forget the in debating it's referred to as a gish gallop, where you just throw so much information at the person that overwhelms them and they can only address a little bit of
Absolutely.
it, right? And so it's
Flood the
that
zone.
similar concept. There's so much fucking up on the part of Dump. And for me, and I haven't spoken about this in a while, but when people ask me why I hate him, it's not because of politics. It's not because he's a horrible human being and has been his whole life. It's because of C19. Because what he did during C19 is completely unforgivable to me. Completely. Because this is a man that on January 8th, 2020, was part of the coalition of countries who were called by the CDC and I think in tandem with the NIH, right? And they let everybody know, all of the leaders of the world, hey, there's this thing going around. It's gonna be lethal. Uh, Prepare for it, right? And we know for a fact that most of the other countries left that phone call and got to work immediately on behalf of the lives of their citizens, because that's what the fuck government is supposed to do. That's what they're there for, to do the big things that we can't do as individuals, right? What did this fucking twat do? He pretended it didn't exist for 70 days. 70 fucking days.
It was the liberal Democrat hoax.
That's how a country with 5% of the world's population winds up with 20% of the C-19 fatalities. That's why
And
I
what's so
hate that
crazy?
motherfucker.
And what's so crazy? The Bush administration and the Obama administration created a task force just for this. The Bush administration realized that the terrorist organizations
T
are
groups.
slowly moving. The T groups were moving slowly into chemical warfares. The Obama administration evolved the Bush administration to help understand what was going on chemical wise throughout the world. And the one place that everyone kept saying in the Bush administration and the Obama administration was the majority of the chemicals were coming from Asia. Not saying China by itself, but the majority of them were coming from Asia. And the Trump administration just said, you know what? I don't give a fuck. That's what they
Fuck the
did.
Bush administration. I will give them credit for nothing. That motherfucker bankrupted the country, and he's the reason why those two beautiful towers were holes in the ground in downtown Manhattan. Fuck that guy. He's a
Absolutely.
war criminal.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
Agreed with that for sure.
If
And
Al
he
Gore
bailed
had
out those
been
fucking
elected
shit on this
kids
president,
country.
who
I
went to
can
fucking jail.
guarantee you those two towers would still be there, because Al Gore and Bill Clinton had security meetings every single day they were in office. And that's the first thing that idiot stopped when he got into office, because they wanted this
Absolutely,
shit to
because
happen.
Al Gore warned everyone that terrorist threats were coming from the Middle East. He
Yeah,
warned
quiet
everyone.
as it's kept, the Clinton administration saved our ass on more than one occasion. There were plots that they literally stopped from happening because of their task force. And that's the thing.
Absolutely.
Just like Dump comes into office and says, "Why are we paying all these people for diseases that never happen? It's a waste of money." Because he was thinking like a fucking business person, and he's not even a good business person. And I wish these MAGA hat dumbasses would learn anything about the difference between the goals of a business and the goals of a country. They're not the same, and it makes no sense to try to run a country like you run a business.
Well, they're all going to say, well, we'll get over in the next 4 years, then we'll move on. No, it's not moving on. You've already fucked us. A wise man always say you can convince someone to vote away their freedom as long as you give them a false world to believe in.
Ask those million people
100%.
whose lives were lost during C-19 if they're going to be able to move on.
No.
They won't. And their families are forever changed because of
Yep.
that.
Because of an idiot that listens to the voices in his head instead of the experts around him. And and I'm being literal. He was asked one time about global warming and forest fires and things like that, and the reporter couched the question in the information that the scientific community provided, and he was like, "Well, I don't believe them. I think that this, and this." It's like, you don't believe the experts, you fucking moron.
Yep. Like that's and to watch him painfully like just scoff
That's
at
yeah.
every sort of professional medical, expert that he had at the podium was fucking wild. Just to see that shit was so embarrassing. I mean,
Yeah.
and I am still amazed.
Or
That,
have y'all seen the new case that's going into Supreme Court next month, or I think next year, where
It's
I
not
haven't.
next month, but what case are you referring to?
the bunch of racist organizations are asking the Supreme Court to relook at the Voting Rights Act of 1964.
Yeah, that's October. Yeah. Well, let's remember the Supreme Court already chipped away at one of the provisions of that act in 2013. And I know that there were two important ones, Section 2 and Section 5. And I think Section 5 is the one that they removed in 2013, and now they're going after Section 2. Because this is what these people have been doing since the 60s. They got angry at the civil rights era because to them America is about white tea people, and they've been fighting the rights of minorities and women since then. And so what they're doing is completely on brand. This is what they've wanted to do this whole time.
Well, it's in the Project 2025, so
Right. I mean, they wrote it plainly. Like, there it is. These are our ideas, and they're regressive, and they're horrifying, and they're authoritarian. That's what they want. They want a country that resembles the Matrix. They just want humans to be batteries for the wealth class. That's it. They want to enslave us and take all of our money and just support their lives. They don't care about us at all.
well, y'all fellas have a good night. I appreciate you letting me on your show.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for coming up. Have a great night. Danny, any thoughts on this stuff? You can unmute yourself.
Well, you have to remember this is the same numbnuts that's in the White House now that also said inject bleach and it'll go away. I mean, this is,
Yeah.
and he's also the same guy that said Dr. Fauci don't know nothing.
Right.
And wants him prosecuted now for what he did during COVID-19. Now
Sure.
listen to what I just said. He wants him prosecuted. Now, what person in their right mind would even say that about a person that saved us from AIDS, saved us from other diseases that he worked on for his entire life?
Yeah, 50
Uh,
years as America's top doctor.
right. And wants to prosecute a man for doing his job.
Well, that's what he did with the labor statistics commissioner, right? She did her
Yeah.
job, told them, and by the way, she did exactly what she did to Biden. In right before the election, she revised the numbers in a downward way for Biden also, and Dump is lying about that. He's claiming that she's been partisan and helped Biden. No, she didn't. She delivered bad news to Biden's job numbers right before the election. And the right
Yep.
made a big deal out of it. They were saying, "Oh, he's been lying. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." No, this is what happens. You get the initial numbers, and then sometimes they have to be adjusted. So she
That's
was
right.
literally just doing what she was there to do, and he fired her because he was displeased with her. That's what tyrants do. That's an off with your head moment.
Well, the same thing when he did when when Comey got fired, and he was actually out there in L.A. at the time talking to the field agents in L.A. and he got over a tweet that he was fired and refused to let him take his plane back, a government plane back to the Washington D.C. where he flew out of. He had to take a commercial jet to go home.
Yeah.
I mean, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he's
He's
just
just
garbage.
he's just a petty garbage human. He doesn't forget any insult. Like, most presidents never ever comment on what comedians or entertainers say. Never. Cuz like
Nope.
you can't stop for every barking dog, like you just let them say, you let them exercise their First Amendment rights and say what they have to say, and you don't comment on it. This guy doesn't let anything go by. He's still beefing with Rosie O'Donnell 20 years later.
Yep. I have never seen a president so thin-skinned in my entire life till he showed up.
Because he's a man child.
Yep, he's also a coward. That's why he didn't go to Vietnam.
Of
He
course.
dodged the draft 5 times.
And there's some made up shit. But
Yep,
you pay a doctor enough money and he'll write whatever script you want. And in this case,
that's fact.
his wealthy father said, "Hey, get me an excuse to get little Donnie out of being a man."
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunate, but that's what we got to deal with. And I can only say one thing: I didn't vote for him. I'm sorry. That can't blame me.
I'm not sorry.
Grandpa, you don't need to apologize about that, my friend.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Like,
You don't need to
I
be
think
sorry
anyone
for
that
that.
votes for him are the
Yeah,
people that
well,
need to fucking apologize.
yeah. Like we anybody that still supports Donald Trump does not support the Constitution or the general well-being of the country.
Uh,
Yeah, I can't figure out what they
That's it.
support except for he hates the same people they do. That's their own.
Right.
That's their only. What's the word? Not joie de vivre. Raison d'être. That's their only raison d'être, is that they hate the same people. That's it.
Yep.
They're afraid
Well,
of two boys kissing,
they still
and
got it.
they hate anyone with different skin than theirs.
Right. And they know how to inflame that hate, and that's
Hmm.
what that's exactly that's why they are absolutely thriving on X, because that is what that platform has devolved to.
Oh yeah, it's a
Just a
cesspool.
bunch of hate, people laughing at really sick shit, and yeah, that's they have it is the crowd of no empathy.
And you know what's really ironic is when the shit hits the fan for them and they realize that they fucked up in voting for this buffoon, then they want sympathy.
Right.
And
They're
they
gonna
try
play
to
the victim
gaslight us. Oh, I
at the
thought
end
you
of
were
all
the
this.
party of compassion. Not to fuckheads like you.
Right. We tried to tell you. We use compassion.
Yeah, you
You
were the
guys
people
walked all
holding
over
up
that shit.
signs saying mass deportation at the fucking rallies last year. Fuck you.
Right.
God damn it,
that's
these people
crazy.
make me sick. They really do. They really do. That's why, to me, there's just no going back. Like this whole fucking kumbaya bullshit that people are promoting. Like, oh, why are you mad at people because they voted different than you? Hey, man, it ain't about who you voted for. It's about who that person is. Look at the
Absolutely.
laundry list of horror associated with Dump. All right, the criminality, the human rights violations, the assaults on women, the assaults on children. You've aligned yourself with that man and you wonder why we judge you? Are you fucking serious?
Absolutely. And that is such a just a surface level way to deal with it, Why are you hating me because of the way I vote? Bitch, the way you vote is completely different than what this man's about. You vote Republican, but this guy fucking votes fascist. He is authoritarian fucking dictator. If I have ever seen one, we are in a dictatorship at this point.
Oh
Like
yes.
the
Yep.
policy, we have crossed that line. It's
Yep.
unfortunate. We still have democracy, but we also are very much ankle deep in some hot sticky fucking fascism.
Listen, I haven't really thought about this, but I'm not convinced that we still have democracy. Where's the evidence of that?
We'll see, well, I mean, we'll see if the next. I haven't voted since the election.
Right. And that's
So
it. Like I'm not convinced. Look, what are we seeing right now that is an indicator of Donnie Dumps and the right's acknowledgement that they know they're going to lose in 2026? They are rigging the game as much as they possibly can.
That's right.
Right? They're
absolutely,
doing
yeah,
a
legit.
mid session census They're doing mid-session redistricting. Oh God, there's my tongue again. Redistricting, easy for me to say. So they are desperate. What that tells me is that they are consciously aware of the fact that their policies suck ass so badly that they don't stand a chance of winning in 2026. And guess what? If this redistricting trick doesn't work, you know what the next step is. No
No
election.
election. I don't think there's going to be an election. Be honest with you. That's me though. It's only me.
We'll see.
That's what I'm saying is like right now, I'm
It's,
not 100% convinced. We'll find out for sure soon enough, but
Yep.
you know,
Absolutely.
there might not be democracy in existence
and I think
anymore.
we
If you
all,
can throw
I
people
think,
in prison for no reason, no fucking due process, just I don't like the look of that person. Oh, but they're American. Fuck them. They got to go. Like, come on. Like, where is the democracy?
you guys are very right. That's for sure.
Yep.
I think we all need to like prepare for that. You know, if there isn't a vote in 26, then we know
It's time to
100%
grip up,
democracy is
man.
gone.
It's time to grip the fuck up.
Yep. Yep. I agree, man. I agree.
Lock and load. At that point.
You know,
100%.
I'm sorry, man. Like, there comes a point, like, you know, I think everybody, what we're seeing, and there's clear evidence of this every day, right? We are seeing the breaking point of Americans roll out. You know, that's what the No Kings thing was about. That was Americans saying enough of this shit, right? And so it's going to reach a critical mass. And once it does, the government is going to respond to it because these people are not walking away from this money and this power easily. No one ever does. So this shit is going to get real, and it's going to get real before we know it. I say next November really is the last straw. Like if this guy pulls the fucking stunt that we all assume he's going to pull and tries to prevent us from voting in the midterms, I think it's game over. I think America now becomes a country that is full on authoritarian, full on fascist, and in the midst of a fucking revolution.
Yep. I've always, you know, since the election, I've kind of set that goal point. Like, if there aren't elections next November, then that's it. You know, we are cooked, and we need to do everything we can to get us right.
Yeah. So, you know, the
You
only
need
thing
to
that can
start
help us with the
preparing right now,
redistricting thing is if Democratic states do their own redistricting, because that'll at least balance it out and level the playing field and actually perhaps give us an advantage. But you know, if we succeed in that, then the next logical thing is Dump is going to be like, oh well, I'm sorry, there's an emergency, we have to suspend the elections.
Now you need to start preparing now for it because I guarantee you that is probably the thing that's really going to happen. So we need to start preparing now. Because if you're not prepared, because you're going to have to stand your ground after that point.
Mm-hmm.
You might as well just lock and load and make sure you got plenty of food and other things that you're going to need, beans and bullets. That's it.
Jacqueline
Yes,
Hyde
sir.
says, I don't want to become part of Russia. That's a fair point.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
and
who knows what he's going to say
and you
tomorrow?
know, there's a passage in the Bible. Pride goeth before calamity, and an haughty attitude before a fall. Right. Most of the time, people shorten that to pride goeth before the fall. And I think the pride that I'm referring to is the pride that I've heard all my life in response to when I started telling people what I thought America was and what could happen here. They would say, that can't happen here. That's pride. That's a haughty attitude that assumes that America is so amazing that what happens in other countries can't happen here. Hello, Jacqueline. How you doing?
I think that's all of us, my friend.
Yeah. What's on your mind?
I hope you're well, Jacqueline.
They're meeting here Friday.
Who's meeting where?
Dumpy and Putin.
Yeah.
Trundle Dump and
Yeah.
fucking Puppet Putin.
Yeah.
And we're
Dumb and
trying.
Dumber.
We're desperately trying to get it together. I don't want to say too much on
I
here,
feel
but
you.
Understood.
Melvin, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that.
yeah, no, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
Well, just make sure that you guys are safe and yeah, keep your head on a swivel. That's all I'll say.
yeah. They're gonna talk about trading territories, and they didn't specify Ukraine. And it makes no sense to have a discussion about territories
If he
with
ends up doing a trade with Russia for any part of our country, no matter how far away it may be, that is the end of him.
well, and also, why
I
would
hope
you
he
bring
knows that, like politically,
why would
his
he
base will
bring
turn so fast. Go
a
ahead.
known WAR criminal?
Mm-hmm. On
You
U.S.
know,
soil.
yeah,
Oh yeah. No, I agree.
to
The
talk
fact that
about Ukraine.
my jaw dropped when I heard that they were meeting in Alaska. I was like, what? That when's the last time Putin's been to America?
Not
Does
sure, but I
anybody
mean,
know?
he's been drooling over Alaska for quite a while.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure he
He's-
is.
He's been threatening us for years now, if not longer.
Yeah. That would be a very big mistake, and I'm glad that you guys are gonna be out there making your voice heard, you know?
I mean, we can't determine which city he's gonna be in, so we're all like, okay, so no matter what.
I was reading that it's gonna be in an army base somewhere.
Well, I can think of at least 4.
Well, I'm sure I'm sure there's many up there.
Which also
Many.
doesn't make sense because poo 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 and dumpy. Oh no. Okay, I'm a child. My bad.
You're good, dude.
Technically he's not allowed on any military bases.
Right.
Anyway, we all agreed to just show up everywhere regardless.
Good. Good.
That's the way to do it.
I'm going to start closing up. These are. There's a couple of ideas that I wanted to share with everybody. I'll share the first idea, and then I'll get everybody's closing thoughts on it, and then I'll close out with another idea. So I talked about this on Danny's Live because I think it's a good metaphor. For me, it's easy to feel like anything I do is useless because I'm just one dude. I'm a nobody. It's, as far as like influence and all that kind of stuff. And I don't mean that literal in like my life. I influence people in a positive way in my real life. I'm just talking about in addressing this situation. It's easy to feel like screaming into a void, right? But the metaphor that I think about is the reality of ants versus elephants. Ants live in acacia trees and elephants happen to love acacia trees. So if the ants are home and the elephant comes to eat their home, they defend themselves. And if you think of one ant versus an elephant, that is like statistically non existent to the elephant. There's no way that there's going to be an impact. There's no way the elephant is going to feel it or even notice one ant, right? But when the elephant goes after the acacia tree and the ants feel that their home is threatened, they swarm and they actually take down the elephant. It takes millions of them, but they do it, right? And in this scenario, the government is the elephant and we, the people, are the ants. So I'll start at the top. I'll go with Jacqueline, then AC, then Danny. What are your thoughts about that?
Well,
Jacqueline first.
okay, go ahead.
Sorry. Accurate. And I definitely resonate. Because I'm just one tiny little ant.
Yeah,
I'm
we're all
only
just
5'8".
individuals, but we can work together. They make it difficult for us to do that. They've created a world where it ensures that we don't get together, but we can still overcome that and make that choice.
Yeah, I mean, literally people I've talked to like a couple days ago are like, well, I can't do anything, therefore I won't do anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a choice. You are choosing. So if I stand up for your rights, then what?
That
Anyway,
is a tough philosophical question.
yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts.
All right,
Accurate.
excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining me. AC, your closing thoughts?
Absolutely. Again, I'll kind of loop back to where we started. We can be those ants, but we need to be communicating and being organized, like I'm sure those ants are. I'm sure those ants are running up one leg as opposed to all four, and trying to find a way in, through the eyes or the mouth or what have you, the ears. But like they have organized and strategically take that elephant down. We need to do that, and the only way to do that is to start communicating.
100%. Well, my friend, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for coming up. I appreciate that you took the
Thank
trouble
you
to
for
switch
having me,
accounts
man.
just so you
No,
could come up and talk to me, but I really appreciate it.
absolutely, man. No worries. Like
All right.
I love your lives, and yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, brother.
Thank you. All right. Good night. And by the way, ants are pretty fucking spectacular. Like, there's this, there's a documentary that my son and I watched. He was probably about, how old was he? Maybe about 10, 11, something like that. We always used to watch nature shows because I didn't want him watching regular TV. And in one show, even though this happened a very long time ago, because he's 40 now, so this was 30 something years ago. Um, it showed that ants were so smart that they would corral caterpillars into their underground lairs, right? And they didn't eat the caterpillar because the caterpillar secreted a substance that ants find delicious, and they ate that. So, I don't know, caterpillar dew, if you will. But they understood that the caterpillar would have to turn into a butterfly so that they would get more caterpillars. So after they would corral it in, they would go ahead and corral the caterpillar back out and set it free. That's not just a bunch of dumb things doing dumb stuff. That's a highly intelligent and organized group of beings. So anyway, Danny, your final thoughts.
You know that decades ago, probably about when your son was a little boy, They came out with a movie called Ants. It was done by
Yes.
Walt Disney.
I know where you're going with
And matter of
this.
fact, I still own that movie on VHS in the office there. I got a bunch of VHS movies in there, and that's one of my own. My grandkids liked watching it. That's why I bought it, and I liked watching it with them. It was a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
But the incredible things that those ants did in that movie just verifies what you said. A small group can do such miraculous things. You know, just look at an anthill, a little bitty anthill that we'll take with our shoes and just brush it aside. But just think about how many ants it took to build that hill. You know, and they did it with. I mean, I wake up the next morning and there'd already be a new hill started.
Yep.
So we all have to gather together and work together to overcome this tyrannical government. There's 350 million people in this country. There's only about 5 million that work for the government in its entirety. You know, if this 300 that or 345 million can't tackle this problem of fascism, then we've already lost.
Right.
And with that, I appreciate you having me up,
Thank you.
and I think that we're gonna have a lot of work to do.
You certainly are, man. Thanks again for coming up. We will talk soon, sir.
We will. Thank you so much, Yoda. Have a good
All
night.
right. Good night. So, this is what I want to leave you with. It's short. Again, this is something that I talked about on Danny's Live, and I figured I'd repeat it here. So I was born in 1964, and in that year, two giants roamed the earth. One was Malcolm X, and one was Martin Luther King Jr. And anyone that listens to me knows that I'm definitely more Malcolm than Martin, but they were two amazing men. And something that Malcolm said in a famous speech of his in 1964 is what I'm going to read to you. It's just 3 sentences, and then I'll say good night. So he said, "We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary." That's where we're at, folks, and that's what we need. With that, as always, peace, love, and granola. Talk to you soon.